Hi, I'm Richard. This is our Bus Rufus, and we're in the San Juan Mountains in southwest Colorado. Part of my motivation for doing this is my dad. I love my dad. He was just a brilliant man and very happy and enjoyed life, but he was real intellectual and smart, and I love technology like he did. And so I miss him a lot, and he died at 54 years old of pancreatic cancer. So I'm only 59. If you wait till you're 70, you could all of a sudden something could happen that's catastrophic and you might not be able to travel. So why not embrace life? If you can go out and see things and do things and enjoy things, and I think we have to get our priorities straight. I think quality of life's a lot more important than just the 9-to-5 grind. I was born in England, and my parents immigrated to the United States when I was 3, so I have an American accent. And we moved all around the States because my dad was an avionics engineer, and we lived out in the Southwest, so I kind of have a draw back to that area. Basically, I became a paramedic just kind of out of sheer chance later on in life and became a wedding photographer. So I did that for about 8 years and actually made the most money I'd ever made in my life as a wedding photographer. And we had a photo booth business, so I kind of evolved away from that. And I've always had a love for aviation, so while I was a paramedic, I learned to fly airplanes. I built the bus in the airplane hangar. The guys at first thought I was crazy, I guess, and they thought I was just going to build like a party bus or something like that. And then when they saw me building it, they realized it was more of a serious project. I've been traveling in the bus since January of this year. The bus is a 2006 International with a DT 466 and an Allison 2500. It's 32 feet long, and it's a dog-nose bus. Some of the features I added to it are a security system. I have 4 1080p cameras that are around the bus, one on each side, one in the back and one in the front. Plus I have a Blink doorbell that's active whenever I activate it. Kind of acts as security if anybody comes to the door at night or if you're at a grocery store or whatever. When I went to Skoolie Palooza last year, which is a big bus event out past Quartzsite, there was a graphic designer there. He drives a truck and pulls a trailer behind it with like a printer in it. He showed me some different options, and he took the old decal off and put this bear on. I thought this was unique because a lot of people put trees on, and I thought it was cool to have the bear and the trees in the mountains because that's what I like. Walking to the back here, this is the garage. So I keep my generator in here, some miscellaneous tools, camping equipment, a solo stove. So it's just all in there on a nice shelf, separated from the rest of the bus. For right now, I opted for a dual sport bike, which I can take on the street to run to the store and get maybe some groceries or do a little touring in. Over here on the back of the bus, I added a 15,000-pound hitch. So I would be able to pull anything with it, but it's also holding this hauler that I bought used off Marketplace. So I use this ramp to load the motorcycle carefully up there, and then it all straps down. It's very secure. The back door here is accessible for gear. So I have photography gear back here. This is my 100-gallon water tank. The advantage to this is just that I can fill my water tank here, and nobody can access the water tank. So hiding it inside the door, it's secure, air for the vents, only inside air. It's not some pollutant or dust. So it just made it really simple. There's 100 gallons, and that is 800 pounds when it's full of water. So it's reinforced and strapped down with 10,000-pound straps. So if the bus tipped over, the tank would stay there. You can shower every day, just do short showers, and you can be out for 3 to 4 weeks. So it's really handy. Underneath, past that hitch, mounted to the frame rails of the bus, I custom welded brackets that hold the air conditioner. I have a 9,000 BTU mini split. On the other side of the bus over here, we have 2 custom racks that I also attached to the frame that hold 4 standard grill tanks. I use standard barbecue grill tanks because if you can't get them refilled, because there isn't a refill station somewhere, you can just go in and literally exchange tanks and pop new tanks in there. Power supply is a 30 amp. Right now it's connected to my generator because it's been cloudy a lot and we're in a lot of trees, so the solar doesn't really work as well. We have another custom frame that I welded that holds a 46-gallon gray tank. All my plumbing is internal, but when you drain, obviously your drain lines go underneath the gray tank. So I actually have heat tape on there and a drain relief for the trap underneath the shower. So I can turn that heated tape on and keep that functioning. So I can actually camp down to like 15 or 20 degrees with no problem at all. On the top of the bus, I have 1,800 watts of solar panels. I have a rooftop deck that holds 4 adults. I have a 360-degree security camera. It's on about a 4-foot pole that's removable, and that is a 20 times optical zoom night vision camera. You can use it for security, but you can also use it for looking for wildlife at night because it has infrared night vision that's excellent. You can actually pan around and look for animals all around the bus or see what's going on. I also have a ham radio antenna up there, and then on the other side there's a Starlink antenna for internet. Okay, that's it for the exterior. Let's take a look in the inside. Welcome to our Bus Rufus. Starting in the front of the bus here, this is a 2006 and it has air brakes and an air system, so the door is actually operated pneumatically from the steering wheel. So when the bus is off, we just push the door open and close, but when it's running, you actually control it that way. This is a security system I added. So it's a 4-camera security system that's 1080p. That's also transmitted wirelessly to the internet via Starlink and by a cell phone. So if Starlink's off, the cell phone will pick it up and you can log into your bus and check it out when you're away. Up here we have just some storage compartments. We had a TV in the bedroom, and then we added this TV later because we realized we were in the kitchen and it was nice to watch the news. That was kind of Donna's idea. And then the bus has dual carbon monoxide and smoke detectors in the front and rear for safety. This is all storage under here. This opens up.
Now for a brief message from our sponsor, PodX Go.
Do you love the location flexibility of a home on wheels, but wish you weren't confined to a narrow rectangular layout?
I'm intrigued.
Then you'll be thrilled to learn about the new innovative Grande S1 by PodX Go. It's a foldable tiny house on wheels.
What?
Meticulously designed for people who are looking for a compact home in various environments and settings, from backyards to tiny home communities and even mini RV parks.
The Grande S1 expands from 7.5 feet to about 21.5 feet with just the push of a button. Enjoy a comfortable and flexible square layout.
It's a fully functional smart home with a main floor bedroom, ingenious transforming features, a Renogy solar system, and Edge One, a comprehensive solution for home automation, security, and energy management.
When you're ready to move, the Grande S1 quickly folds and tightly seals. Then just drive it away with an F-250.
Rest easy knowing it's NOAA certified, making it easier to get a loan and insurance. So if you want an extraordinary and affordable way to simplify your lifestyle, the Grande S1 is an excellent option for you.
You should check out their Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign, where pricing starts at $49,000.
Okay, and here in the kitchen, we wanted a big countertop, so I chose butcher block and got that from Home Depot. But all the cabinets are custom made, so I'd never built cabinets before, so I kind of just figured that out. but all of this is securely bolted to the floor to make it very strong. You have a pull-out garbage can, the standard drawers for different kitchen items. Under the sink, we have our on-demand hot water heater is in the back of the sink. So it works excellent. It actually vents out the back by the window. And then up here we have like our plates and then other things for cooking. This is a barn sink. It's actually ceramic. It's from IKEA. And then just a single drain. So we wanted something big and some way to drain dishes down here easily. And then I wanted a fancy sprayer for spraying things off and because it looks cool. The stovetop I actually got for $100 because a guy on Marketplace had bought it and decided he didn't want it, but it's a $300 stovetop. I have a 900 watt microwave, and then below that is a furnace that exhausts outside. So this heats the entire bus. And it's kind of cool because it heats into here to this main area, but it also has a separate vent that goes down the water lines to keep them warm. It goes underneath the shower to keep the shower pan warm and then goes into the bedroom. So that was kind of just something I thought of while I was doing it. So on this side, we have our dining room table, but this has kind of an interesting history because when I started building the bus, I made a couch that pulls out into a bed out of wood. And then I decided I didn't like that idea, so I took it out. These are 2 seats out of a Ford Transit. I bought those off Marketplace also. And what's unique about them is they fold flat. The seats move forward and backwards and they adjust and you can twist them. So it makes for a really great tool for having company or eating dinner. And then this seat here, you can swing it around forward and use it as a passenger seat. And then the outlets are actually designed so you have outlets for both people to plug their devices in. And then as you swivel around, there's an outlet back here. So that person still has an outlet that's convenient even though you're in driving mode. Then the table actually unlocks, folds down. Both of these seats fold flat. And then the black part, which is part of the flooring in the Ford van, that actually folds over the top of each other. And this converts into a couch, or it could be used for a bed because it's 6 foot long. And we have a backrest that goes there. So this is a couch, bed, and a dining area. So it works out great. At some point in time, I bought this Toyota FJ, and I didn't really plan on necessarily taking it off-road when I got it, but my interest kind of peaked later on from watching YouTube videos, and so I modified the FJ. That kind of started this out. You know, I'd done some tent camping as a kid, but I came back in my FJ and I made like a platform bed in the back. I had a water container shower that went up on the roof, off-road front bumper, rock rails, skid plates underneath it to protect it from going over rocks. I'd done a lift on it, and I couldn't figure out why no one had done a rear hitch skid plate that would protect it. So I came up with that idea, refined the design, tested it on multiple vehicles, did research, found out nobody else had done it. I did the research and did a provisional utility patent on it, and then marketed it online. So I bought the bus for about $7,000. It had 128,000 miles, I believe, on it when I got it. I looked at many buses, tried to weigh out what was the most bang for the buck, like the not having rivets and having enough headroom and having the right drivetrain. And there were buses that were more expensive and less expensive, but this seemed like the right fit. So the bus took about a year to build. It's funny because the guy that I was flying with, Zach, he asked how long it's going to take, and I said 3 months, and I was really wrong. It was a ton of work. So the back of this dining area has a whole bunch of tech. It's pretty cool. We've got our refrigerator here, of course. The refrigerator is kind of unique because in a lot of builds, they have a wall here to secure it from moving. So we wanted to kind of make it stand out, so we didn't want that wall there. So the refrigerator is actually secured to the wall with like these special pads that hook to it. But there's also a seat belt that goes around the fridge when you're driving to make sure the door doesn't open and add a little bit of extra security. This is some of the other tech. This is a quad band ham radio, so it's kind of fun for communications and playing around with. This is my status indicator, which tells you how much power is going into the batteries or out of the batteries for the solar system. Behind that is the control for a diesel heater. So even though I have a propane furnace, I also have a diesel heater down here that connects directly into my 60-gallon diesel tank. It's very convenient to fill your tank with diesel, heat your bus, and then rather than having to refill propane, all you do is refill your tank with diesel and you've got more fuel for your heat also. So that's excellent. And both of these heaters are mounted center bus intentionally so you get even heat in the front and rear. So that's something you have to think about in the design process. This right here is my Starlink router. The brains for the Starlink are actually in the dish. And there's actually, the dish is really cool. It actually has a heater in it. So if it's cold, you can actually turn that on and it'll melt snow. This right here is a phone booster, sort of like a WeBoost, which is a big brand name, but this is an off-brand. I can put an antenna on the roof, turn that on, and it will boost your cell signal outside so that if you have poor reception from somewhere, you could use that. But what we typically do now is we put the Starlink up, we turn on Wi-Fi calling, and we can make calls through Wi-Fi through Starlink, so I don't use that as much anymore. This is a tethered cell phone that plugs into another router that I have back there. When the Starlink's offline, you can use that cell phone for the security system. So it'll provide the 4G LTE to that router, and that router backs up the security system. So a lot of tech there. This right here is actually the controls for my mini split air conditioner. And the mini split air conditioner is actually a heat pump. So it actually is an air conditioner and a heater, and it also works as a dehydrator, so you can use it for all those functions. So you can actually run that off of the battery for air conditioning for a short time, or if you have full sunlight, you can keep it going. But when you're plugged in at a campground, or if you were using the generator continuously, then you can run that constantly. So that's kind of a nice feature. And then these two are zoned heating controls. So I actually have heated floors in the kitchen here, and I have heated floors in the bedroom, and I have different thermostat controls for each of those. They actually do not draw too much current, so in the morning you can actually set the timer so the floors will be warm when you get up. So that's kind of another cool feature. I actually have 4 modes of heat in the bus. I have a RV propane furnace, a diesel heater, a heat pump, and heated floors. So it's kind of excessive, but my thoughts were if you're boondocking and it's cold and one system fails, you've got backup. So that's why I did that. Another part of the kitchen is this pantry that I built in. So I wanted a large pantry. So we have some other things in there too, but it's great for keeping the food. These all go in. Any of the heavy things go in, and I have a metal pin that goes in to hold them shut when we're driving. We'll walk back here to the bedroom and bathroom. So the reason this is designed like this is because we wanted open concept. So we have this relatively small space to work with, and I felt like if I put the shower in its own box and sealed it off, then I would really eliminate how big the bedroom is. So I decided to go with this open concept. In the shower here is all real ceramic tile. The wall right here is the plumbing wall, so all my plumbing comes up and works off of that. It's just worked out great. So if I needed to access it, I can access it through that wall and the decorative wall in the kitchen. But the shower pan is actually sunk in the floor and the heat goes underneath it. So the advantage of that is it gives me more headroom since I'm 6'2". So I step down into the shower versus having the bubble they put in RVs. I actually didn't add the glass originally. I had just the curtains going around, but I realized it would confine the water better. So I had the glass custom made. And it was very strong even without this support piece, but I went ahead and ordered that. But it's absolutely no issue and it works extremely well. For the bathroom sink, I just wanted something kind of grand and cool looking. And then I custom made this Madison cabinet that just opens and closes. Something unique that I did was I made a custom urinal that's under the cabinet here. So the urinal is a urinal that you can buy on Amazon, and I basically ran a braided tube down to below the sink trap, and then I paralleled that tube with a fresh water tube that goes into the urinal, and then I put an electric solenoid in, so after you use the urinal, you just push a button under the sink and it actually rinses the urine down. Under the bed here is our toilet. So we try not to use that. Just most of the time you're somewhere where you can go to the bathroom, and we have some other options to make it so you don't have to mess with dumping. There's actually a negative pressure fan behind the toilet too that it doesn't have any odors, but if you did, it would help remove those odors. Down here I have my light switches for the bedroom and the shower. Then I have a 30-minute timer here for my water pump. And the reason I did that was so if you leave, you don't forget to turn your water pump off. So you turn that on, your water's pressurized for 30 minutes, which typically is plenty of time to do anything, and then it just shuts itself off. This is a queen-size bed. It actually converts into a single bed though. So there's slats under here, and you can actually push the bed in, and then that way you can use this as an access area. But all of this under here is storage. We have a TV that we can use from in the bedroom. We can actually turn the security cameras on up there from here, so if you're laying in bed, you can actually check all the 4 night vision security cameras around the bus. And here there's actually an access to my electrical system, so my solar charge controller, my lithium iron phosphate batteries, my shut-offs, and my fuse panel are all in that section. On this side, basically I wanted closets for him and her. So I have drawers for myself and drawers for Donna down here. This other hatch up front here has a screen on it for bugs, and then it just pops open. We actually take a ladder that extends, goes up, and you can access the roof deck there. But what we typically do in the morning or in the evening, we will cook our dinner, and we can just reach up there and set our plates and our food up there. Then we can climb up the ladder and we can sit on the deck and enjoy the sunset or the sunrise and eat our breakfast. So it's really cool. I spent about $35,000 building it, give or take. I kept records for a while and then kind of gave up on that. The reason it probably costs that much, you could build one for less, is because I have technology in here. So I've added some things that maybe other people wouldn't do that cost me a little bit more. If you look at a motorhome, even if it's used, you could spend anywhere from $40,000 to $200,000 on it. Those motorhomes you buy don't come with solar, or if they do, they come with really minimal solar. So you spent less money and you got exactly what you wanted in something that's really robust and strong because it's all steel, versus buying something that's made by somebody else. Maybe it's made with particle board instead of plywood. Some of the safety features might not be as good. If you spend time, you can build your bus right and make it exactly what you want. My girlfriend's Donna, and we also have a dog, Rufus, who's a golden doodle. He's 3 years old. And the interesting thing about that is we got Rufus before we built the bus, and the bus is a dog-nosed bus, so I called the bus Rufus also. So our Instagram is at our Bus Rufus. So the bus is named after the dog. Kind of silly, but fun. She's in Indiana now with her mom, and her mom's older and she's kind of helping out with things with that. She'll travel with me, but I'm kind of out here by myself for a little bit. Hopefully she'll come down here in January and join me. I built the bus with the thought of maybe retiring in it, just because I thought, why spend all your retirement savings or, blow your money when you can really downsize? I realized that life is about experiences. I mean, I like to have some nice things, but I don't really need to have a giant house. I don't need to have a bunch of fancy things. I'm more interested in traveling and seeing the country. I mean, this country alone, even without going out of the United States, has so much to offer. So you can drive around and experience it, and if you can do that without paying campground fees, it's even more exciting. The fact that you can go park in those locations and explore and come right back to your house and look out the window and not have to mow your lawn, to me, is very appealing.
Thank you for watching our video and for stopping by Tiny House Expedition. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Christian. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And for more tiny home tours and stories, click the videos below.
And join us on Instagram for bonus content,
including face-to-face conversations with us. We hope to see you there.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.